Hey guys, it's Michael Mershon, your local real estate expert here in San Antonio. And I'm going to put my real estate / coaching hat on for a second. And I want to show you guys, whether you're working with clients, you're struggling to generate business in this market, I want to give you kind of a conversation that you can have and the solution to some of the common objections that we're hearing. So in this scenario here, you are down here at the bottom of these stairs and your goal is all the way up there at the top. And the goal in this case, obviously, is to buy or sell a home. So you feel like you can't reach that goal because of a number of different things, whether it's interest rates, down payment, home values, holiday season, whatever it may be. There's a lot of variables that are in play right now. So I'm going to touch on some of the most common ones, and that's these three: holiday season, home values, and interest rates. Now, for holiday season, it's understandable that people may not want to move in the holiday season, but that does not mean that there is a supply-demand issue there, because very commonly, military personnel are relocated during the holiday season. They kind of call it PCS season, which stands for permanent change of station. So that means that you're going to have an influx and an exfil of people moving into and out of a place. And that means that there's going to be a need for housing, whether that's people looking to buy or rent. The other variable is that there's a lot of national companies relocating to San Antonio, and they do that year round as well. So all those people that are moving here, whether it's a military, whether it's people moving from out of state for a job, or whether it's company relocations, they all have to have a place to live. So there is a demand side of it. Now, home values. A lot of people are concerned that home values have gone down. If I wait, then I can get more money for it. If I wait, maybe it'll go down. There's all sides of the argument you can play there. But I'm going to show you how waiting and allowing the interest rates to go up over the last, 4, 5, 6 months has actually cost you much more money than you would ever save by the home values coming down. So I'm going to get into that here, starting with interest rates, because that's kind of the big one and that's driving most of these conversations right now. So I'm going to focus most of my time on the interest rates, what the actual mathematical difference is in terms of payment, and then give you guys a solution to kind of walk through with either yourself if you're looking to buy or sell a home, or with your clients if you're on the real estate side of things. So right now we're in the 7.7 range, 7.8% range for interest rates. Now we're going to take 1 percentage point increases just because that's easier to work with. So right now we're at this 7.5% interest rate. That puts our payment at $26.29. Now if we had bought, say, even just like 6 weeks ago before the last couple hikes, we would have been in the 6.5% range. Now that makes a difference in our actual monthly payment of $252. So that 1 percentage point increase has increased our payment by $252. And the important thing to note here is it hasn't changed the home price, hasn't changed the home value, hasn't changed any variable other than just the interest rate. So you're paying $252 more right now than you would have paid 6 weeks ago for the exact same house. Now, there's projections that they're probably going to raise the interest rates one more time. Maybe that puts us in the 8.5% range. Now if you had bought when it was a 6.5% interest rate versus when it was 8.5% interest rate, well, now you're looking at over $500 a month in payments. Same house, different time, different interest rates, but the home value hasn't really changed. So again, you're paying more for the exact same house than you would have been if you bought 6 months ago. So to put that in kind of a simpler format, $252 per 1 percentage point increase. Now, what does that equate to in terms of, well, your people say, I'm going to wait for the house prices to come down. Okay, well, let's look at that. Because home prices would have to come down roughly $35,000 to offset a 1 percentage point increase. If you look back towards the beginning of the year when we had like high 2s, lows 3s for interest rates, now you're talking about 5-6%. Increases. Now that's a pretty dramatic number, and that has a huge impact on your payment. Not only that, but home prices have not come down nearly enough to even remotely keep up with the interest rate increases. So for everybody out there that's thinking, well, I'm going to wait for it to come back down, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Nobody really knows. But the reality is that you're taking a huge risk by waiting. So right now, people have not adjusted to the market. There's a really good solution that allows you to take advantage of both the home prices as they are right now, as well as getting a lower interest rate on the front end. And that brings us to our solution. That is a 2-1 buy down. Basically what that means is you're buying down the interest rate for the first 3 years. And in an ideal situation, you ask the seller to give you a concession. Now, if you're on the selling side and you're concerned about marketability and demand, this is something you could even proactively offer, basically agreeing to give them a set amount of money as a credit to buy down the interest rate. Now, what does that look like? That looks like for the first year, it's going to take 2% off whatever the interest rate is. So current rates, that's going to knock you down to like a 5.7%. The second year, it's going to jump to a 6.7%. And then the third year, it's going to be locked in at that 7.7, which is what the original rate would have been. Again, we're buying it down for 2% the first year, 1% the second year, and then it goes back to its normal rate the third year. Before I get into the next step of refinancing, let's look at exactly how much money that saves us each month. On a $500,000 house, at 5% down, again, this is a 2 percentage point decrease, you're saving an annual savings of $7,704. Now that equates to $642 a month in savings. Now that second year, say you don't like the interest rates, you don't refinance, you're still saving $303 every single month, or an annual savings of just under $4,000. Now the really cool thing about this is that any point in here, you can go ahead and refinance your loan and take advantage of lower interest rates. So essentially you're buying yourself a 2-year window where you have a significantly lower payment, but you still have the option of refinancing and locking it in long term. So it's not going to make sense for everybody, but it is a really viable option if you're concerned about either selling your house in this market or buying a house in this market. Again, because we don't know where interest rates are going to go and we don't know where home prices are going to go. But at least statistically in San Antonio over the last 20 years, home prices have remained very stable. We've seen an increase in home prices, and the demand for jobs and employment and things like that has dramatically increased, as well as a lot of national companies have moved their headquarters or open branches or plants here in the San Antonio area. And again, all those people have to have a place to live. So even though the demand may be slightly lower right now, we're not seeing that generally reflected in terms of prices falling far enough that it makes sense to wait. So that would be my argument, that it's actually going to cost you more in the long run versus less if you were to wait and purchase a home. So that's all I got for you guys. If there's any questions, leave them in the comments. Anything else I can help clarify for you, I'm happy to do that. Give me a call. My cell phone information, emails on the next slide there. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.